by the Holy Spirit. So that's why when people call me a false prophet, they just cast aspersions on the spirit that made that manifest. So that's not good. So don't do it. So here we go. Now, the creature's eating his own kid. The creature, they just cast aspersions on the spirit, arguing that it was drawn in right in front of you through me by the Holy Spirit. So that's why when people call me a false prophet, they just cast aspersions on the spirit that made that manifest. So that's not good. So don't do it. So here we go. Now, the creature's eating his own kid. The creature is a representation of this entity. Let me ask you another question. Like right now, I very much would like to hear from y'all. Can you see how obvious it is now? Even upside down. Can you see the creature? I mean, you see his tongue coming out, going right to the nose of the dead sheep. See, the child is really the food source. So when you're a child of Satan, he eats his own. Why do you think it has Saturn eating his own kid? This is all true. It's based in all these, things that sound like myths, and that they're based in some truth to them. Okay, so you can see, look, there he is with his tongue coming out, going right to the nose of the kid. The kid's a dead sheep. Yeah, if you pay attention, you can see the fangs on the kid from here even. I can, but I've drawn this thing in, so it's like I know what's there. Anyway, here we go. You can see the fang on the kid right there. See it? He's got fangs. And the cumulative sum of the whole thing is a giant face of the evil one. That's the whole thing, is the face of the evil one. E pluribus unum. Think of many out of one. That's what I showed you in the video yesterday. You know what? I think it's probably important to pause it and show it to you. So let me remind you guys of a couple things. So again, here's the entire hieroglyph. So yes or no, is that a face? Is this whole thing a face? And I'm going to scrunch it down. There it is. That whole thing is a face. It represents the evil one. There it is. Midian one, e pluribus unum. That's his agenda right here. There it is. Look. Right in front of you. In an ancient Egyptian hieroglyph. There it is. That's a face. Okay, now watch this. Hang on one second. You want to hear their guy tell you everyone's connected? He knows what's running this guy right here. He knows we're all connected because he knows it's a hybridized system. What's running him? Watch. Listen to it. Listen to what he says.
Country. Everybody here is connected in some fashion. Here is connected in some. Everybody here is connected in some fashion. And our success and our children's success is tied up together, and so here is connected in some. Everybody here is connected in some fashion, and our success and our children's success is tied up together, and so I think most Americans feel that way. Mm-hmm. But what is still true is that there's still kind of a reptilian side of our brain, right? Kind of a reptilian side of our brain. There's still kind of a reptilian side of our brain, right? That part of our.
He couldn't even say that. That's just absurd. No one says there's still a reptilian side of our brain, especially when that very same person is in a presidential portrait and he's got half of his head as a T-Rex. I mean, whatever, it's enough. I mean, it's just, okay, it's stupid obvious now. He's the garden, okay, he's the serpent in the garden. Half of his head on the presidential portrait is a T-Rex. It's like, okay, I get it, already, enough. And he's, winking, looking in the mirror, winking. There you go. Those who wink their eyes devise perverse things, bring evil to pass. Anyway, you know what I mean? It's just like whatever. The whole serpent race, it's just smoke and mirrors, the whole thing. So the sheep never wake up and find out what's really going on. And that's what the Lord's used me for, to show you what's really going on. Here we go. So now let's keep going. Here we go. So you see that entity right there in the Matrix movie? Okay, that's no different. That is just no different than Akhenaten and Nefertiti
It's just it's the same exact thing as the cumulative sum of the hieroglyphs. So there it is. There's a thing from the Matrix. Here's Akhenaten right here. There it is. Well, I mean, what's the difference? It's the same type thing. Exactly. It's a collective consciousness. And what runs the collective consciousness? This thing right here, that's the serpent race within. It's a spiritual being. So that's a spiritual being within the host body system. You get it? So yeah, and there it is. That's the serpent race within. It's a spiritual being. So that's a spiritual being within the host body system. You get it? So yeah, and there it is. I mean, no one could have drawn this in, nobody. Anyway, so here we go. Let's go back. Let's finish this. Okay, we're going to go back to, ready. Okay, now, just FYI, what you're looking at right now is you're looking at the other half of the hieroglyph I'm going to draw in right now. I'm going to draw in the other half. So when I saw this, imagine you're me and you're drawing in with a Sharpie fine tip. I mean, a fine tip, it's very hard to do this. It really needs to be even much bigger, to be honest. It should be probably another 20% larger just to be able to do what I'm doing. But I'm sitting there meticulously with the Sharpie fine tip because that's how the Lord led me. This is what you do. Let me show you what it produces. Ready?
This whole thing is a giant face, but it's an agenda of their hive. Do you understand how profound this is? And here's the way they do it. What everybody thinks sex is love. No, it's not. Sex is lust and desire. It's a whole different thing. Love is a whole different thing. Okay, so here's the creature eating his own kid. Here is our serpent being right inside Akhenaten, looking back the opposite. There's his eye looking back that direction. Here's Akhenaten with his face, mouth to mouth to his own child. But the creature is really the system upside down, taking the breath of the child, which is the sheep. See the sheep? There's the sheep's eye, the tongue, nostril on the far side, open mouth. So there's a dead sheep. Here's the creature taking his breath. Here's the one that's responsible for the insemination of the female. So we're going to take this right now and we're going to attach it to the female. So let's go down here. So now here's the serpent being impregnating the woman. There it is. Now let's put that up where it goes. You ready? You want to see supernatural? You want to see miraculous? You want to see only God could have done this?
Bam!
Not some guy named Jonathan Kleck, and not other people that say, oh, look, Donald Trump's in this hieroglyph. It's like, sorry. No, he's not. He's not in the hieroglyph. Okay, there you go. There it is. There it is put together. And the result from this is the spiritual being trapped in hell. This is where the energy goes from killing the sheep. So here's the sheep, and the spirit's being taken from the sheep, and that energy goes to the pit, and then no one gets out. He's got his feet on the door. So here is the system. Okay, one thing I forgot to do is, very important. Let's take a look down here, and there you go. So there's the dead sheep with its tongue sticking out. Let's go even on there. You go. Look at that. So I outlined that in silver. My goodness. So there's a dead sheep with its tongue sticking out. Now, here's the reptilian being that's birthing out of the Kelipot that's attached to the Sitra Akra, the realm of evil from the other side. So here's the serpent being. There's his eye. See it? See his tail wrapped around? So now you have a serpent being, a serpent race that is benefiting off the death of that sheep right there, and the place that it's hatched is the consciousness of the child. So it's a consciousness that takes over the host body system. Now, ready? You want to freak out and see the mystery of your existence? There it is. Someone called Giorgio Sikopoulos and tell him it's time to go get a new haircut and do a new Ancient Aliens video. There it is. Ready? Let's go. Let's kick his ass. And you know how you do it? You turn the whole world upside down so you can see them, because they hid your ability to see them by inverting you. So to show you who they are, I've inverted the world to show you who your masters are. Do you understand how profound this is now? Okay, now we're going to deconstruct this side, and we're going to go in there and fast forward it, super fast drawing. Okay, so I'm going to slowly start deconstructing pieces. Let's take off this. This is a big reptilian being right here. That's the eye of the reptilian being. There's the open mouth. And then this comes down the neck. And this actually, watch, this turns into the arm of the reptilian being. So it's really a reptile sitting here. They're no different than this is a serpent being, a reptilian being inside an Akhenaten. Here's the reptilian being right here, and that's the arm of the reptilian being. But let me show you something. Right here, you'll see these colored markings that are blue and green and red, and you'll see this thing that's coming down like this. And there's actually a stinger right here going into the back of her neck. This is DNA transcription. I don't want to get into all this right now. It's in the Kingdom Divided video. But you know what? I'm going to keep it simple for you. We don't need to go off on a rabbit trail. But that's DNA transcription. Now remember, the locusts that come out of the pit, what do? They sting men. Men will seek death and will not find it. Isn't it crazy? There's a stinger going in the back of her neck. And there's a stinger going in the back of his neck. Zach, can you get up super close to that black spot right there? So this is coming together as a stinger. That's a stinger penetrating his neck. So the back of Akhenaten's neck. So anyway, very important thing that y'all know about. However, I'm not going to spend all the time to draw the whole DNA transcription. It's just too much and it doesn't matter for everybody's brain. First, yes or no? Is that a sheep with its tongue sticking out? It's simply a yes or no answer. It's either a dead sheep or it's not. So, hey Johnny, I drew a picture of you. Why'd you draw a picture of me, Alex?
Do you know who you're speaking with?
So now let's just jump off on a little sidetrack. Is that a sheep with its tongue sticking out? It's a yes or no. So the guy that drew this picture of Jonathan Kleck, his name's Alex, he drew the identical agenda as a hieroglyph that's 1300 BC. So now it's proven. Just proved it right in front of you. That's Alex's drawing. Here's the hieroglyph. Here's the Vatican is a snake. Moving right along, there's another picture of Jonathan Kleck with a dead sheep on top of my head, which is exactly the same as a hieroglyph, and with a goat on top of my head as well. Sheep and goats, and then when you turn it upside down, there's a serpent eating me. Same as there's a serpent eating the sheep in this thing. It's always the same thing. Serpents eating sheep. Okay, let's continue to deconstruct. So now I'm going to deconstruct this. Let's get this guy off first. Now this is fascinating. When I draw this in again, y'all pay attention. This is simply the eyebrows and the open mouth of a person, like an entity, a man, woman, whatever, but it's sideways. So those are the eyes and the eyebrows and the mouth, and I'm going to rotate it sideways, and it goes right there. So I'm going to take that and put it right here. There you go. And then now, here the different serpents are. There's one serpent right here with his bottom jaw open. Here's another serpent coming up from underneath. And here's another serpent that's upside down coming from this direction. They're all eating this guy, and his neck is stretched backwards. And now I want you to see just how bizarre it is, because the hieroglyph itself doesn't make any sense. Look at this. Look at this blurb of stuff. What is all this? It almost looks like someone took a trowel and went over it or something. But the thing is, you couldn't tell what any of this is without seeing the nuances in the line. So I'm able to see the line there. There's the semicircle there, the semicircle there. So there's the eye, there's the split mouth, there's the open jaw, and I can see it now. And I can see the other images of the serpent that are coming in from other directions because I can see the nuances. See in between my thumb, you see that eye? Can you see how obvious that is? Mm-hmm. You wouldn't be able to see that snake's eye, that's the end of a snake's head. You wouldn't be able to see this. Okay, let me have the camera for a second. So you wouldn't be able to see any of that stuff if this wasn't on a light board. Every good and perfect gift comes from above, from the creator of heavenly lights, not like them who cast shifting shadows. Okay, so here we go. So let's go ahead and peel off the big mama reptile, just call it the big mama reptile in the back, and this is her eyes. So this female reptilian, her eyes and ears are also the child that's in her lap, and there's a lot going on here too. There's a head of a sheep that's facing down here. The hand of the kid is also a reptile here. It's the end of a snake's face right there coming down, and that begins the face of a serpent going down. And then this kid's body that looks like a pork chop, that is not, look at that. You see the pork chop right here? That's not right. That's the head of like an anaconda or a python. And then it has the very distinctive markings that pythons and or boa constrictors have that go towards the eye. So there's the eye, there's the top of the head coming down, and then it just goes under. And there's the serpent eating the child that's in the lap of the queen. And the eye of the child the whole head of the child is the eye of the reptilian entity. See it? There it is again. Okay, so now I'm just going to deconstruct this last piece. I told you I'm not going to worry about the DNA transcription, but the Lord showed me it's a stinger. I'm like, it's a stinger. Holy crap, it is a stinger. And so now I'm going to deconstruct the last piece. You ready? So here we go. Now, I just want y'all to look at this. Okay, ready? Now, I'm going to go like this. And there you go. And now I'm just going to simply pull this off. You can see that was on. Now I'm just going to go like this. That's a sheep. I will judge between one sheep and another, separating the sheep from the goats. So the race of goats, Satan's church is an upside down five-pointed star, the sigil of Baphomet. What is it? It's a goat. So Satan's the one that turns it all upside down. This is a cumulative sum of an entity, the evil one. This is his agenda. What's the agenda? Well, get the serpent seed inside the female. The female produces a hybrid kid with this big elongated skull. Inside the kid's head is a consciousness not only of the dead sheep, but the serpent being that just impregnated her. It makes total sense. It's the only thing that does make sense. There's nothing else that makes sense. But this makes sense, and that would make sense on, wow, so you were willing to participate in the forbidden fruit? So you got a host body. Oh, so you're being hunted for dinner, just like the clothing line YG. Hunted for dinner, just like all the stuff I show you, broken promises. All the stuff I show you is connected to this, everything. And the Bible bears this out. So now you've seen it. There it is, and now let's just go draw that in one time, and there's a record of it for a court admissible record now.
Wow. I don't even know what to say except wow. I'm sitting here watching this myself going, this is absolutely insane, because that is absolutely a serpent's head. Look at it.
Okay, guys, while I was drawing that in so we could do the high speed thing, I kept noticing a change in shadow where it was trying to draw my pen into one of the surface cuts that should be above the serpent. And so I was like, why is the artist trying to draw everything into this? And I couldn't figure it out. So that's why I drew a couple lines on the serpent's body. So you saw that in the high speed. And I was kind of wrestling, like, which shadow do I go with? And that just led to a greater revelation. You want to freak out? So Satan said, Lucifer, I'll rise above the stars of El. Arise above the stars of El. Okay, well, the princes of El. This serpent has DNA transcription coming up from the bottom and a set of stairs. You ready? Look at this. Unbelievable. See, these are stairs. Those are stairs that are going into the serpent. See, it's like it comes down and it goes into the serpent. And it's also the DNA transcription that I'd mentioned in the previous video. So to be able to see that now is insane. This is a stairway, guys. This is the serpent, the head of the serpent, and the eye of the serpent is on that's basically the genitalia of the little girl. I mean, that's just unbelievable. Just think about it. The eye of the serpent is the womb of the little girl. The eye of the serpent is the womb of the little girl. That's insane. This is a set of stairs now. I just was able to discern it. And it's because the Lord had me stuck right here. I was like, well, wait a minute. Why is that going here? Because see, this one right here, I'm like, follow the shadow. And it keeps getting drug into this. And I'm like, well, it's got to match up over here for the rest of the serpent's body. And that's when I stopped and I took a look at this. And as I looked at it, I'm like, oh my God, I heard in my spirit, it's a stairway. And I'm like, it's a stairway. Look. Those are steps. I will ascend above the stars of El, the Most High, by using a host body system to destroy them. Wow. This is absolutely nuts. I'm just sitting here watching myself, and I can see it so easily now. It's so easy to see now. How covert is all this? Look at what you're looking at is those are two serpents with their mouths open. And that's a guy on his side with his arms stretched back. I can see how their artwork, one thing becomes something else, because I used to do the same exact thing in my artwork, but I used a grinder and lights as my medium. And the Lord had me doing the same kind of artwork, but opposite, using lights instead of shadows, doing the exact opposite of what they do. I used lights instead of shadows. They use shadows. I used lights. That's insane. And it's actually very difficult with the pens I'm using. It would be so much easier if this was printed on paper. So much easier. This is printed on plastic, trying to do this on plastic. Draw all this in on plastic and, keep the lines close enough. It's not easy to do. So there it is. And it's just like, well, here it is. See, that's part of the problem I'm having with the pen right there, because I can't get a fine enough line to get what I'm trying to
to get what I'm trying to draw. I can see it. That's why when I peeled it off, Zach and I can both see the eye very easily, but to try and get it on there. Anyway, there you go. Now look at what you're looking at. Sheep, 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 another sheep. Vatican's a sheep. Here we go. There's a lot of dead sheep. This is phenomenal. I mean, just absolutely nuts. I almost can't believe that somehow I was able to do this. How in the world was I able to do this? I mean, you can see what I'm doing. I'm just drawing in the changes in shadow. And actually right there, it's a little bit sloppy, but you get the point. It's moving around a little bit. The marker's not the best marker. But it'll take shape. It always does. There it is. I can see it already. So there it is. Just got to fill in all their shadows. And then once you fill in their shadows, you can see what it was that's going on. See it all coming to light now. See the sheep. See the eye. See the nuances in the shadow. Ooh, there you go. Look at that. Unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. Look at what you're looking at, folks. I mean, you're watching it. Unbelievable. Wow. There's the teardrop on the sheep. That's the eye of the serpent. Think about how crazy that is, that the teardrop right there coming out of the eye of the sheep that's the head of the serpent. Do you know how horrifying that is? Do you know just how wrong, just how messed up that is? That's just crazy. There you go. Wow. 3 snakes. Look at them. Look how obvious it is. There they are. 3 snakes eating the guy. There's the guy with his mouth open. There's his open mouth. Who could see that? There's a serpent. The child's going in the mouth of the serpent. See it? That's why it stops at his waist. Wow. All right. So there you go, guys. Don't know what to say except I hope you guys see and understand what it is and how important it is. And that this is what the Lord allowed me to show the world. All right. Now, I would love to sit there and do just a super commentary, but I'm so exhausted and I wouldn't sound like I really was with the program. But if you guys will just simply look at this, there's the soul trapped in hell. There's the woman that's on her knees. There's the top of her head. She's being inseminated by a serpent being. There's a dead sheep in the kid's head as well as a reptile. Here's the serpent going up the body of the queen. The head of the serpent's right here. The kid's going in the mouth. The queen herself, turned it upside down, is a dead sheep. And I have all this in folders for you. And I've done it in a way to where I've cleaned it up on computer to make it even more obvious for you. Because when you draw it in on when I'm just drawing it in on those clear plastic layovers. That's so y'all can see it. So y'all can see, no, all I did was go over the lines. But when I do it on computer, and I just put those lines where they go, just tracing it in on computer. I can't do it and record it. It's a problem doing it that way, but I can still save it. There it is. I mean, there's a sheep with its tongue sticking out. Look at the fangs on the kid right there. So there it is. I mean, this is conclusive. It's not my idea. It's not what I thought I would think up. It was the Lord God telling me what to do in order to see it. Do you understand? The Lord had to tell me, Jonathan, take that National Geographic and blow that up into a poster, build a light board. Can you imagine that ended up matching the Vatican? The Vatican's a snake eating a sheep, which is what the hieroglyph is. So do you understand the mystery of everything's been solved now? Because there's a religion called Catholicism, and Catholic means completely down. Kata holikos. Kata means down, and holikos is completely. Katolicos, Catholicos, completely down. They're the serpent race. I was raised in a Catholic family, and I never fit in. I was like, something's not right here. All glory to God. All right, guys. Peace and grace. I love you guys. What we'll probably do over the next couple days is I'm going to take a little break. I have